starting the recording. There's my audience. Alright. For my role model presentation, I decided to choose comedian Robin Williams. Most people understand or know who Robin Williams is due to his work in movies, his stand-up career, and we all know that he unfortunately passed away in 2014 due to battling depression and ultimately him committing suicide. I learned about Robin Williams when I was a little boy from his acting in Aladdin, where you see a lot of his old classic bits of improvising and doing impressions. As I grew older, I started getting more exposed to him with movies like Mrs. Doubtfire, Good Morning Vietnam, and started getting a lot more of a mature style of comedy from him. And as I grew even older, I started getting more introduced to his style and his life through his stand-up career, where he would actively talk about his battles with alcoholism and depression. Now, as I've stated in many of my previous articles for this class, I want to become a history teacher, and I've also stated how I want to become a comedian. But I feel Robin Williams connects with me on an emotional level because of his work as a comedian and how it would apply with me as a teacher. First, I want to talk about how Robin Williams was able to make people laugh even though he was suffering from depression and was ultimately sad. You can tell from a lot of his styles of comedy that he was still fighting depression, but he loved seeing people smile, and I'm assured that is what made him go on and keep doing his job. So ultimately what I want to do with my history teaching, I want to be able to be that teacher when a student comes in and be like, I'm so excited for what we're going to be learning, what's Mr. Chandler going to do, and I want them to go home with a positive attitude. That's the kind of person I aspire to be as a teacher. I want my students to be happy regardless of how I'm feeling, because that'll make me feel better. Of course, there is a serious side to what Robin Williams can do, and we've seen this in one of his movies where he stops playing a comedian and plays a serious role. I think probably one of the best examples that I can think of is his performance in Good Morning Vietnam, where he played as a comedian DJ named Adrian Cronauer, where the majority of the movie is him cracking jokes and being funny, and overall it's hilarious. Of course, there is a line that he drew during that movie, and it was kind of tipping over a few times. For example, one of the earlier jokes that he did that as a historian remember being very dark is when he's making a joke about Vietnam's hot and humid climate, where he says how hot it is that he references the Buddhist monk who lit himself on fire in protest. It's funny, but it's also dark. But then we see how later in the movie he starts seeing the horror that Vietnam has and still makes jokes, but he wants to also get into the more serious stories about the soldiers and what's going on. And I know as a history teacher, I can't make every historical fact funny or fun. I need to know when to draw the line. And that's what I want to aspire to as a history teacher. I want to be fun, I want to be fair, and I want my students to enjoy it. But I also want them to know when something is serious. And I also need to learn how to draw the line at some parts. So in conclusion, Robin Williams was my role model because of his style of comedy, how he was able to fight through his darkness just to make people happy, and also because he knew when to be serious and when to play it straight. And that's what I hope to do in my future, and that's what I hope that's what I want my life goal to be. Thank you.